Hey everyone, and welcome to GMIHub Online. I am your host Cheryl Dewick, and we are so excited today to have a wonderful interview with some special guests. But before I go any further, I want to introduce my co-host, Dale Borland. Dale, are you out there? Hey.
Absolutely. I'm so excited tonight. We're going to speak to the Tonettes, but I just want to, before we move on, I want to do some housekeeping. I want to let you know that we are on GMI Hub Online, which is our YouTube channel, and if you're on it, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you, if you haven't already done so, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll know the next time we put up a video. Also, I want you to visit our website. It's gmihub.ca. You check it out for yourself. On the front page, there's lots of things to look at, but also you can join our monthly newsletter and we'll send it to you free. You just give us your email and we'll send it out to you. That's a really good opportunity for you to connect with us as well. And if you have events or musical things that you're doing, tell us about it because we'd love to tell others about it too. So it's a community thing. We want to just help you guys out, and it would be just great to have you on board.
Absolutely, absolutely. Join the community. Well, we are so excited because we have the Tonettes, not the Tonettes are with us tonight. And I know that many of you are fans. Many of you have seen the Tonettes at different festivals, and usually the Elvis Festival, I believe, and at other locations. And I know they're going to be doing a lot of appearances this coming month because we're heading into the Christmas season. But I'm so thankful that they were able to take some time to be with us. So without further ado, I want to introduce the Tonettes to you, which includes Marlene O'Neill, who's an award-winning vocal artist, and Cathy Borges, which rhymes with gorgeous, I love it, who's a veteran of gospel music as well, and a relative of Marlene. Ladies, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thanks for having
Hi
us.
there.
Awesome. Now, I was
Delighted to
doing
be
some
here.
research. Yeah, thank you. I was doing some research. Did you know that there was many groups with the names Tonettes? It's been really interesting for me. There was a white female trio in the UK in the 50s. There was another group, and then San Antonio. There was one, and there was also one in Jamaica. It was a ska band. It's great. But we have the Canadian original. This is the Tonettes on tonight's show, and we're so excited because there's so much that we need to talk about. We're going to talk about their journey, we're going to talk about their music, we're going to talk about what they're doing now, and maybe something that you, as an artist or a person who has an interest in music, can glean from this show will really be something that will help you to move forward in your music.
Absolutely. So you know what? Let's bring them in. Let's ask some questions. So, ladies,
Sure.
I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear. Let's talk about your background. Let's talk about life before your musical life before becoming the Tonettes.
Sang with my family for many years. The Harris family, which is my mother's maiden name, then the Elliott family, which is my mother's married name, and then Marlene O'Neill as a soloist. What some of your viewers may not know or may not realize is Cathy and I are cousins. So we have been singing together um, since we were toddlers, I suppose. um, like I said, I sang with my family for many years. My brother was a bass player. My late brother was a bass player. My mother is also a singer, and my dad he did all the interesting work behind the scenes, all the sound and whatnot. But I went into solo. I became a soloist probably, I don't even know, 25 years ago, 28 years ago, and then came the Tonettes. Cathy, I'll let you take it from there.
Um, I have been singing. I think I sang my first solo on stage at the age of 4. Um, Gee whiz. Um, my, like Marlene said, we are related. We're first cousins. And her mother and my mother are sisters. And my start came with singing with the family group, the Harris Family Gospel Singers. And I came in as a soloist. Me being a little younger than Marlene, she was already
Just
singing
a
with the family
little.
group, and I and I came along in, or I joined in as a soloist. We did a concert, or we were on the bill at the Canadian Gospel Music Association. I think they were. I don't know what you'd call that, Marlene. I mean, where it was like a whole week or weekend of
Yeah,
groups
convention.
coming together and convention. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I got my first standing ovation. I think I was 5 years old, and I must have performed or sang for about, I don't know, 1,000 people. And but since then, I sort of stayed church home in terms of ministry. I did children's choirs and um, uh, group groups with. And then we started another group at one point called Bethel, and that consisted of my mother and my aunt and Marlene's mom and myself. We did that for a few years as well, sort of on the church front of things. And then came the Tonettes. So here I am.
Okay, so the Tonettes came in 2007, I think is when I read that you all came together. What was the catalyst that brought that together? I mean, you were singing as a family, um, and yet there was something that changed that caused the Tonettes to come into being. What was that?
Uh, I guess I'll answer that one. So I was a soloist at the time and was being hired to do some studio session work. And it's a long story, but I'll keep it short. Um, the guy that was engineering the session was playing one show. I remember it was November the 11th of that year. Um, he said, "I'm playing one show, and it's an Elvis tribute artist, and they're looking for three gospel singers to do the Sweet Inspirations type background vocals. Do you think you could put together a few vocalists?" So, as an artist, you never say no, within reason. So I said, "Sure, I can do that." So immediately I called Cathy to see if she might be available. And then I called Amoy Levy and asked if she might be interested in doing it. And so we rehearsed. Cathy, you can fill in how many, I don't remember how many songs we rehearsed for that one show. Um, it was probably a 2 hour show, maybe. Is that about right?
Yeah, I would say yes, probably an hour, 20-minute intermission, and an hour starting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we rehearsed for this one show. We went to the rehearsal, of course, did the show, and really we put the trio together just for that one show. And then even the night of that show, we had people coming to us saying, "We're interested in booking you for such and such, and how can we get a hold of you?" And so we thought, okay, well, maybe this is something that we should consider taking a little further and consider doing a little more. And honestly, it snowballed from there. Huge.
Wow.
So that's how the Tonettes got started. So it came to
That's
us,
really
really. We didn't
interesting.
go looking for it.
It's a really cool origin
Everything has
story
been
because I,
fine.
I didn't know that was because of some other person that you actually came
Yeah.
together. That is really incredible background, and yeah, I love that.
Yeah. We couldn't have orchestrated it ourselves, honestly. I
Hmm.
mean, it just types of shows and just really, really enjoying the ride so far.
So let's talk about the name, the Tonettes.
Mhm.
What was the? You said you're from the same family, so you could have called yourself the Harris.
we just we have followed the Sweet Inspirations as recorded on their original recordings, but um, seeing as we are a group unto our own, we do what we call we tonetify it, and that's kind of become a little catchphrase in between Cathy and I, and with the band that we're working it in that yes, we stay true to a lot of the background.
There.
Yeah,
No, I
That's
just
how
seen
that's
I
this,
just
how
that
seen
we're
was
on your
doing
lovely.
it.
poster, on the poster it says, you know, and I thought, well, that's interesting.
That was a
On
signature
the
Elvis look. Is that
oh
what you're
yeah, for
talking
sure.
about? Which poster for the?
Oh, it's just the poster. It's got the Paquette Productions and
Paquette,
Okay.
it's
yes.
got you were on either side of him. I thought you were the sideburns. I don't know.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
got it. That's pretty funny. I think you should stick to co-hosting, Dale.
Alrighty, okay.
I was
That's
like,
great.
is he asking?
Dover.
Port Dover, yes. The 11th is the Burlington show. And then we're going to be in Ottawa, I think, the following week, and back to Port Dover on
Yeah,
the, I think it's the 18th. I'm not 100%
on
sure.
the 18th. Yeah.
Wow.
But
So the
what these
two,
are is, so there's two different shows. So there's a Christmas Spectacular, which is not an Elvis show, but it's a Christmas show. So Marlene and I will be doing some music as well as Kay Howell and Pete Paquette and the Rock and Royals band. Um, we do um, we do opening music as well as various solos or duets um, throughout the show.
throughout.
So, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I know that when we, well, more my husband, when I go to events with him and I meet some of his friends, or he even meets some of his friends, and all he has to say is, "Oh, we're talking with the Tonettes," or "We're working with the Tonettes," and they all go, "Oh, you're with the Tonettes, the Tonettes." So oh, the headliners, the Tonettes are coming. But,
That's
you know,
pretty cool.
you know, and I think that's a testament to, and I'll say this because if they, and a lot of them are the behind the scenes guys, like Marlene, like your dad would be, right? Locations, but have you ever been approached to go to a location and and to do a show at some place and you as a Tonettes as a group probably went, no, this is not for us. Have you ever been approached that way or been
Go
invited to
ahead,
sing
Kath.
someplace?
Have we ever been approached to perform in a venue that we didn't feel comfortable in? Is
Yes.
that what you're asking?
Yeah.
We've done, let me see, restaurants, um, um, lots of
Cafes,
theaters, churches,
theaters.
cafes. We even did Wild Wings once in a little corner.
until that door opened and the Tonettes was formed and the venues started to come to us and the opportunities start to come to us. It was only then that I think, for me personally, that I was ready for that. I mean, there are a lot of singers, a lot of players who say, well, I'd like to play in a such and such, or I'd like to do, well, maybe you're not ready yet. And I'm not saying that in a haughty way at all. I'm just
Right.
saying we all have, it's like a body, right? We need to use to the best of our ability. So we can't all be a left arm, right? We need a right arm. We need a right ear. We need a eye. We need the whole part of the body. And it's important that whatever part we have, we do it to the best of our.
Like area that you're singing in, you have to sing, and there's 10 of you, or maybe 15 of you, or 5 of you, or whatever, and you have to all sing the exact same thing. And I found that that was the greatest, the greatest learning way to learn to train yourself to listen.
As a tenor, I had to learn that. For me, that was it was a discipline, and I think that you hit the nail right on the head. If someone out there is saying, "Oh, I really don't know how to do harmony," the choir is
Really, I
sit
think
there
that,
and they'll go through that section with you. Ding, 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 ding. This is where you need to be.
if it's a minor key, then then you're, but yeah, learning before you hit the stage is a good idea. You don't want to fly by the seat of your pants, unless you have an ear like Cathy and I. We just know when we as a family would get together. Our moms or our grandma or whatever would just say, "Okay, you do the high part." So we would just do the high part. Now, as the Tonettes, all 3 of us could do all 3 parts. So it was really just a process of elimination. All 3 of us were very comfortable singing kind of the middle, the alto part. But because we were a trio and doing background vocals, we had to wrap around whatever the melody was doing. So Amoy loved those low, deep notes at the bottom. Cathy would sing just below the melody, or sing the melody, depends on the song, and I would sing the soprano up above him. So it depended on the song, but when we as a trio sing our own trio songs, that's generally how we stack it. Cathy in the middle.
Sometimes the melody is a high a high soprano part, right?
Yeah.
Where you're singing the octave above which is usually in the Elvis world. I keep saying that. I don't know why I keep saying Elvis world, but in that type of music, there was a lot of really high parts. I think it was Kathy Westmoreland used to sing a lot of really high, Sweet Inspiration, sang some really high notes. So we gave those to Marlene.
Yeah. I've really developed my soprano voice over the years. I embrace it now, though. It's kind of funny. I fall into there naturally now. It's kind of funny.
Well, it's just about a practice, right? It's like anything, discipline. Once you practice something enough, you get better at it. It's like I was saying earlier, any art form you do, if you're a painter, if you're an actor, if you're a singer, the more you do it, the more practice. It's like a muscle. The more you do it,
absolutely,
the better
and there's also memory.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's no harm.
So again, it's really just all right. There's no harm in harmony.
There you go.
We're even.
There's
I-
also no harm in me doing a little promo. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're online right now, GMIHub online, and we thank you so much for doing that. Don't forget, if you haven't done it already, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll know the
needs that are within the community, and if you're a person that can fulfill those needs, I'd encourage you to sign up and join us, because even if it's if for nothing else, it's to connect with other people. You know, we want to bring connection with people that otherwise would not meet together. So, and one of our slogans is we encourage unity, community, mentorship, and talent growth. So, if that's not encouragement enough, I don't know what else will be. But I want to bring back these ladies, Marlene, Cathy. Let's bring you back in here.
Great,
Go ahead.
Cathy. Marlene was talking earlier about how the change, not the change, but the way that she did her music and the approach. And I was asking before we went on air about realizing what it was like whenever you started off with doing your first performance and to today, and the transition you did, you know, this backup vocalist to headlining or front, whatever you want to call them, doing gospel events. And so if we were to take you from where you first started, you and Cathy, and then and then to today, what has changed, and what is the biggest change, and how are you dealing with today as opposed to then?
Some things have not changed. Some things have stayed the same, in that we're just being very true to our God-given talents, and using that when the opportunities arise. Maybe one of the big changes is that we're doing it more now. Our schedule is quite full. In non-COVID years, it's building up now. Our schedule is quite full for next year, but yeah, we're getting busier. And I'd say the number one change is that we were a trio, and unfortunately we lost our sweet Amoy in December of last year. And so that's been a huge change for us, as a group, as friends, as sisters, if you will. This coming Saturday will pretty much be our first event that we'll be doing with Paquette Productions, that we did as a trio for so many years, and now we'll be doing as a duet. And so that is a huge change for us as the Tonettes. We miss Amoy very much.
Did you ever thought of putting somebody else in the project, a voice that would, or is that something you just don't want to do?
Just as I had mentioned earlier, everything with us has been so organic. It all just welded together, just one thing right after the other, in such a way that for there to be anybody else in her place, it would have to happen the exact same way. It would have to be so natural and so organic, like just so natural and organic.
Yeah.
But it would have to
something that's not forced. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be something that just falls into place, and then you know that it's just a God thing, you know, because that's what this was. This really was just a God thing that just
totally
placed us together. We came from some very similar upbringings. Obviously, Marlene and I being related. Moy grew up in singing with her sisters, and grew up singing in churches and so on and so forth, the same way that we did. And but it just fit. It just came together in everything, everything. It just all fit and it
Yeah.
all snowballed. We used to joke and say, "Wow, imagine if we tried, eh, guys?" Like just
Yeah.
one thing leading to the
That's
next thing, to
great.
the next
I
thing,
love it.
Yeah, we used to joke and say, "Hey, maybe we should advertise." Hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it
That's
was all
true.
just
That's great.
it was all just like Marlene said, snowballing. So
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
it to be any for yeah, so with COVID and everything being at a standstill for the most part over the last year and I guess almost 2 years, it uh, it we haven't really had to step out there yet and be the Tonettes. We've done a couple of things here and there, but we haven't
Yeah.
actually stepped out to be the Tonettes. Uh, this will be these Christmas shows coming up. Will be the first time it'll just be of us. So pray for us and pray
Yeah,
for
I was going to say that.
uh, that God continues to, to guide us that way and give us just lead us into wherever our next steps are and whatever they are. We're open.
We're open
Hmm.
for
you
it.
know
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
So
Yeah, exactly.
whatever he has and however he sees fit. Yeah. So
Hmm.
Hmm.
What would you share?
Amoy was she was our king. She was our king or our queen of um, picking out harmonies. Now, if anybody could hear uh, parts and harmony,
A
not just
seventh
harmonies,
chord or,
singing harmonies,
yeah.
but bass notes and keys, guitar, everything. She would be like, she'd do a little lick here and there, and I'd say, "What? How did you come up with that?" And she'd say, like, "Well, it's just a guitar." No, 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 no. Just throws in there. So
Yeah.
so natural, and I've actually learned so much from her in terms of her ear. She used to say, and she'd tilt her head and say, what are you singing there? Okay, so you're singing that. Try this. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. And you can hear it and very different. Or
Soloist.
we all bring
She was
something.
also a very talented
Yes.
soloist as well. She
Oh,
did
yeah.
her own career, and so
Yeah.
Oh,
she
yeah.
knew her stuff. Oh yeah.
You sure did. Yeah. She is very missed in the gospel community, in the Canadian musicians community. The Juno Awards actually did uh, um, a
Yeah.
little tribute to her. She is very well missed. We're very thankful for the time that we had to
Hmm.
spend with her on and off the stage as a sister friend and as a co-singer. We miss her desperately, but we'll see her in heaven someday.
Amen.
We're positive of
So
that.
maybe, yeah, amen. Maybe the
Yeah.
question that I think I asked you, Marlene, about writing.
Yeah.
How was that? We met at a concert that you did at the Bramley Baptist Church there, and I asked you about writing and what opportunities you have now,
Mhm.
and how is that working?
Have I wrote one song when I was in college, um, and I sang it to my husband on our wedding day, and that was it. I have some ideas and some
Hmm.
thoughts, but I literally have a friend of mine. Well, everyone knows him. Mark Masri told me once before. I said I'm not a songwriter, and he said you're not a songwriter yet.
Yet,
Um,
yeah,
I'm getting
exactly.
up in years, but maybe God will give me a song. But if not, then I'll continue singing songs that God has given to other artists and other people to write. Um,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I'll go about it that way and seek out really, really good songs. That's a commercial,
Good.
by the way. I'm always looking for
It
good
is.
songs. So
That's great.
Well, just go to
But
gmihub.bandcamp.com and
there you go.
there's some more Christmas songs to add to your
There you
repertoire.
go. Okay.
if you're
Some
serious
songs out
about
there that
writing,
you just
yeah, sorry, if you are
Good
serious
idea.
about writing, I mean, maybe challenge yourself a little bit. You don't have to
Hmm.
always think poetry. I mean, that's something that a lot of artists think when but think of story instead of poetry,
Sure.
and maybe that'll I really want to encourage artists, and I've been doing this with lots of artists ever since I started getting into music many years ago. I sat down with Hiram Joseph, I sat with Kevin Pauls, and all these guys, and I know
Sure.
them all. And I said, let's see what you can do as a writer, and and I want to encourage you as well.
Appreciate that so
Thank you.
much. Yeah.
A lot of that. So
That's
Yeah, we
good.
sure
It's
do.
always good to do
Backstage
that on
shenanigans.
stage. Yeah, the stage
Oh yeah,
is a great place for that. The audience loves that too. They connect with people, that those
they
joy
really do.
journeys. They love that.
yeah,
And when you're just
we
being
do a lot of
yourself,
that.
and that is who we
Yeah,
are, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, true.
What you see is
for
what you
sure.
get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I have, I guess, one more question. And I guess it's we've kind of talked about it, but I kind of want to dig a little deeper. And I agree with you about Omoy. I didn't hear all her music, but she'd be, it would be hard.
Together as a group.
Do we want to do smaller venues? Um, things change for a reason, and
Mhm.
most of the time we really don't know why when the change is happening. But it's
Mm-hmm.
important to take a step back and look at it with a broad perspective and think, okay, maybe it's time for us to come off the road. Maybe, yeah, it's important to be realistic and look at what's happening and not just throw together something because, well, we're getting phone calls and we need to put a quartet together, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
Think of it
it's
from the
important to
perspective.
think about it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Think of it from the perspective of like just like say an office environment. You know, everybody can do the job, or anybody can come in and fill a role and do a job, but
Mhm.
you need a certain dynamic too. So the person that you're looking to replace has to be a good fit for more than just their capability as a singer or a
Absolutely.
musician. It
Mhm.
has to be more to it than just that. It's got to be the right
Yeah.
fit,
Absolutely.
personalities and that kind of thing too,
Sure.
and mindset, um,
Yeah.
so that you're of
Yeah.
similar agreeable sort of mindset and that kind of thing. So
Yeah. You and Marlene
it's
went
more than just
through that. Yeah, you went through that yourself, I'm sure. You're thinking, and God is taking you into a place where you're at right now, and you had to do a bit of a pivot. You had to do a bit, oh, what are we doing? And I'm sure that must have been a bit of a rough time for you. But, being that you were consistent with what God had given you to do, God's honored that. Mm.
Yeah. I think so too. I think we're walking into this with our eyes wide open and our hearts
Mm-hmm.
wide open and our spirits wide open to
Yeah.
where God would want us to
available.
be.
Mhm. I
He's
think
gifted
that's
us for a reason. We know that. So
Mm-hmm.
we're just being truthful to that calling on our life. And we all have a calling, whether it's
Sure.
in music or it's painting or it's crunching numbers in an accounting firm, whatever it is. It's accounting firm. Is that still a thing? Accounting
I don't
firm.
know.
Yes,
A
It's
financial firm.
but
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
yeah,
it is
you know what I
accounting.
mean. Yeah,
But I
being a
think
real
you made
estate
it. You
agent
made
or
it
whatever it is.
right. you make an interesting point, because there are, like I was thinking, there's young people out there that don't have the experience or the wisdom that you would have, that they
Mm-hmm.
could take from your experiences and say, okay, they've already been through it. I'm going to have to just realize that
Call
it can
us.
be done.
Yep. Yep. And I think we're all on different levels, and I
Mm-hmm.
think we, as those who have been there and those who are maybe doing what you aspire to do, call us, email us, pull us aside after a concert. Artists, especially when I went into solo work, there were artists that I looked up to, and certainly there's a ghost coming through your door, Kathy.
It's
I
my dog.
certainly
Sorry.
I certainly looked up to artists and other people who were doing what, and you know, ran ideas off of them and so on. We
Mm-hmm.
need to share. We're not.
Mm-hmm.
We're in this together. You know, we need to share, and we need to
So let me
participate
ask, how
in
can
each other.
somebody
That's so good. That's so good. I'm gonna write that down.
mm,
Very good. Thank you, Manic Drive, for
Mhm.
that quote.
yes,
Yeah.
Mangrove.
Sure here.
No, it's really
um,
I
been a
know.
treat to have you on the show. I really, I mean, I was impressed to see you performing, but to have a chance to just sit and chat has been really, really nice. And I think that the viewers that are listening, for different ages and stages, there's so much that we talked about, that there's got to be something that people can take home and unpack, and and also they can get a hold of you guys, and you know, really, they're there to help and communicate any questions that you want answered. So please take
Absolutely.
advantage of that. That's something, and we want to thank you for watching tonight. It's been a real pleasure to have you with us. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. And don't forget to hit the notification bell, so next time we put a video up, you can know it and get a chance to see it. And also make a comment. We'd really love to hear from you. Please let us know what's going on, and any questions. Even if you have questions in the comments